Okay, alright, so the Zoom session today was going over just the first part of this week's lesson, which was talking about Pythagorean theorem. So, just a reminder, this right here is going to be bonus. It is due by Sunday, 1/10/21. Okay? Now, what is Pythagorean theorem? Pythagorean theorem is a formula that tells us that c squared, also known as our hypotenuse, is equal to a squared plus b squared, also known as our legs. Now, just a reminder, your hypotenuse is always across from the 90-degree angle. All right, I'm going to do two examples with you and go over how to use a calculator and a cell phone and how to do these. All right, so our number one, first thing I do is I identify my box. Here's my beautiful box. And then I go across from that box and I find what is C equal to. Well, in this case, C is equal to X. So if I write my formula, C squared equals A squared plus B squared, I'm going to plug in what I find for C. So I've got X squared equals, and then you just take the other two bits of information you know and plug it into the rest of the formula. So we can say 9.6 squared plus 6.1 squared. Now, if you do not have a calculator, so on your calculator you should be looking for an X to the 2, like that button. If you take your cell phone and you turn it sideways, you can find a button that looks just like that. And you can just type all this into the calculator at one time. So we can say 9.6 squared plus 6.1 squared. And you should get X squared equals 129.37. So I would take this time right now to pause the video and check to make sure you can type that all in your calculator or your cell phone correctly. All right, now, next thing you want to do, where did my green pen go? So confuddled. Anywho, okay, so the next thing you want to do is you want to get X by, instead of a square, square root. That's the button. So you're looking for a button that either has something like that, or it could even just have it like that. On your calculator, if you have a scientific calculator like mine, you'll have to hit the second button and then to be able to get to it. On the cell phone, if you turn it sideways, it's a button all on its own. Now, that being said, sometimes you have to hit the button first and then type in the number, and sometimes you have to type in the number and then hit the button. If you're using a calculator, you type in the symbol first, and you'll get your answer. So our final answer is X is about 11.4. If you don't get that, try the other way, where you would type in 129.37 and then hit the square root button. That only works for some cell phones. I'm not sure if it's Android or if it's Apple. One of them does it differently, I think. Okay, now, one more example. See, on this one here, we were solving for the hypotenuse. We were solving for C. On our next one, it's going to be a little different. So we're looking at number 2. Who keeps texting me? Oh, my mom. Okay, we're looking at number 2. So here's our box. Okay, we're going to go straight across from our box to find the value of C. Now we're going to just plug that into our formula. So we have C squared equals A squared plus B squared. So now we have 15.2 squared equals, and just like before, just take the other two bits of information that you know and plug it into your equation. It doesn't matter which one's A and it doesn't matter which one's B. So I have X squared plus 12.7 squared. All right, now there are two ways you can do this. You can go ahead and square them and then solve, or you can just as they are and put them all together. So for example, if I have X squared plus 12.7 squared and I need to get rid of that 12.7 squared, I would move it by doing the opposite. So the opposite of an addition would be a subtraction. So now you can type all of this in your calculator together, kind of like what we did on the other side with addition. We're doing it with subtraction. So I'm going to say 15.2 squared minus 12.7 squared. And you get x squared equals 69.75. Again, I would pause the video at this time and make sure you're doing it correctly. Now, just like before, we got to find that square root button. And you should already know whether you need to hit the square root first or last, according to what happened in the first example. So I'm going to go square root. Woohoo! And we get that x is about 8.4. All right. Now, we've done 2 together now. You can complete the rest. Remember, own piece of paper. Submit your answers on the Google form. This is due by Sunday for bonus points. All right. Thanks, guys. Hope to see more of y'all on Zoom on Thursday. Bye.